Now, everybody seems to be a cool new feature that everyone seems to be doing on their social media challenges, and that's making these little graphs and talking about them. So I figured, you know what? Why not be like the cool kids and make one myself? And the reason that I kind of snatched this idea is I watched a video on the Simon Dan page earlier today where he did a graph about conspiracy theories. So I started looking around online, and there's actually a lot of these graphs out there for conspiracy theories for people to fill out. And you all know my opinion on conspiracy theories. I'm not a big conspiracy person, but I'm also not somebody that, well, let's just put it this way. I'm very interested in conspiracy theories. Do I believe most of them, if not all of them? No, I don't. But they are mindless entertainment that I enjoy. So I've got a list of 12 what they're calling conspiracy theories, even though you're going to realize that I've talked on To Boldly Pod or here on After Dark about some of these are not conspiracy theories. But for sake of having fun, I'm going to roll with it. So our options are at the top of I absolutely believe it. Just below that, it's, you know what, I could see this being true. It's possible, I suppose. Then we get to the middle ground, one of those where you could believe it or you couldn't believe it. You need to see the evidence. So show me the proof. Just below that, it's one of those things where you're like, huh, interesting, but I'm not really buying it. And then, of course, at the bottom is when people just go ahead and hand you the tinfoil hat. So let us kick things off with one that I think you all know the answer to this. It's aliens and UFOs. And yes, I do absolutely 100% believe that UFOs are real. Do I know for a fact they're alien spacecraft from another planet? No. But I do think we're seeing some things that we cannot possibly explain. We cannot possibly reproduce on this planet with the scientific knowledge that we currently have. Some of these things do the impossible. So, yes, I do believe in UFOs. Nobody is surprised about that. This next one, the JFK assassination, I am going to put that, you know what? Put it in the show me the proof. Because do I think it was a grand cabal between the CIA and Cuba and the mafia and the Republican Party to assassinate a president? No, I don't. But there are a lot of unanswered questions still surrounding this assassination. And do we think that Lee Harvey Oswald was that dead eye of a shot from the book depository with his onlooker Carcana rifle? It doesn't seem likely. So I'm not exactly believing it's a grand conspiracy, but I really would like to see some proof because I think it is kind of suspicious. I'll put it that way. That's why I put it in the show me the proof. The next one's kind of a hot button topic, and that is the 9/11 crash. Do I think it's a grand conspiracy? No, I don't. I'm not buying it. I don't think our government knew that or financed the Twin Towers to be destroyed, to kill their own citizens just for the sake of going in a years long war in the Middle East. Do I think that was a grand plan? No. Do I think there's a possibility of the fact that maybe they may have had some intel about the possibility? I would kind of buy, and kind of got caught with their pants down. I could believe that. But do I think the government set it all up, put things in motion just so we could go to war? No, no, I don't. The next one's an interesting one. And I just have a picture of Bigfoot, but we'll guess we could include all of cryptozoological creatures, cryptids. So I put Bigfoot in the possible, I suppose, category. Do I know for a fact that Bigfoot is real? No. But skeptics out there, however many there are, and there's a lot of them, that will immediately say it's impossible. We would have found one by now. Well, there's a lot of this world that's still uninhabited. We have not stepped foot on 100% of this planet yet. Do I know for a fact they're real? No. But I will say that picture right there of the Patterson Gimlin video from the late 60s, people will say it's debunked, but it really hasn't been, because both men went to their graves insisting that they didn't create it and it was not a hoax. So take it for what you will. Maybe we'll do this again later with all the different cryptids and kind of list them, because some of them I really, really believe in the possibility, and some I think are just complete myth. So maybe we'll come back and do that again. The next one I don't get, because I just don't get it. Do we live in a simulation? If you believe we live in a simulation, then you need a tinfoil hat, because under absolutely no circumstances do we live in a simulation. Glitches in the Matrix. We did a video about that a few weeks ago. Yeah, no, we do not live in a simulation. And you could break this down into two ways. You could say the people that believe in God, and God created everything, and God knows what's going to happen. So, in that aspect, yeah, we're kind of living in a simulation. But then there's people that think we live in a simulation, specifically like the movie The Matrix. And that is just 100% false. We do not live in a simulation. The next one, I've got a, you know what? I want to go tinfoil hat, but I'll give you a little bit of a bump on this one. And that's the idea of QAnon. Do I believe there's this hidden cabal that's exposing all the governmental hidden information on the dark web? One mysterious person called Q that has all the answers? No, no, I don't. What I think, it's somebody that created this persona online. It gained traction within the conspiracy community, and unfortunately, it got picked up by some powerful politicians, specifically here in the United States, and it's kind of grown legs. But it's probably just a person or a group of people that are either breaking in to servers and getting information and or making information up and spreading it as fact. And that is probably more true on the latter than the former. The next one is one that I actually, when I was younger and less read, I kind of sort of believed. But now I've got to put it in the tinfoil hat land. And that is the idea of chemtrails. And if you don't know what chemtrails are, it's people think the government or the Illuminati or somebody is spraying chemicals out of the back of jets as they fly over to dumb down society. Do I think that has any basis in truth? Absolutely zero, because if you learn what a contrail is, which is actually what you see coming off the back of a plane, you will realize what it is. Just learn a little bit of science. That's all you really need to know with that. And there's zero proof that contrails are a real thing. Do they seed clouds? Do they try to manipulate the weather a little bit? Yes, they do. But it's totally different than spraying chemicals into the atmosphere to dumb the entire populace up. Next is one that I'm going to put this one in possible, I suppose. That is the idea of the Bermuda Triangle. Now, I could easily put that one in the show me the proof range, but as a little kid in the 70s, shows like In Search of and Night Gallery and stuff like that just made me fascinated with all the strange disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle. So what is it? Is it aliens taking everybody? Is it some mysterious force in that little triangle of sea? Is it Atlantis? I don't know. Do I know what's true? I know the planes that disappeared and the ships that disappeared and all the weird things that happened actually happened the way they were explained. Don't know if I necessarily buy the time travel portion of the whole Bermuda Triangle thing, but the planes and all that, it's pretty damn mysterious. So something's weird there, whether it's just a magnetic force or whatever. So I'm going to put that in possible, I suppose. Next is one I'm also going to put in possible, I suppose, and that might surprise some of you because those of you that know that I used to run a paranormal group are kind of surprised that I don't put ghosts in the I believe it form. I tend to believe it, but there is so much fake information, fake videos, fake television shows for that matter. And what I mean by fake is the evidence they're portraying is completely and utterly created. So people see that and they pass it off as real and people believe it. But honestly, when you do serious paranormal investigation, you can just about debunk or explain probably 99.9% of most occurrences. And that goes for sightings, things people experience, doors opening, etc., EVPs. A lot of times, if you can't recreate it, then you can't qualify it. So it's as simple as that. So I'm going to put that in possible. Do I think some things are strange and unexplained? Yes. Did I have some experiences in my life that I thought were ghostly? I think they were, but I don't have enough information to say that my brain wasn't playing tricks on me. So we'll put it in the possible, I suppose. Next, we're going to go with one of the granddaddies of conspiracy theories. Did we land on the moon? A lot of people out there think that we didn't land on the moon. A lot of people think it was created in Hollywood. Well, those people are completely wrong because not only did we go once, did we go twice? We went numerous times, all within a 10-year span. And then we didn't go. And that's, I think, where a lot of the conspiracy blows up. Why haven't we gone back? And then people will say, we don't have the technology anymore. Why not? We had it back in the 60s and 70s. It's because we have technologically evolved since then. So the technology that existed in the 60s and 70s isn't feasible to use anymore. But I think we will be going back. Numerous countries, I think China, India, Japan, us, maybe even Russia. Yeah, we went to the moon. So, conspiracy theory, not even in the slightest. The next one, you know what? 15 or 20 years ago, I'd probably would have put this in the possible, I suppose, phrase. Now, I'm going to put it in the tinfoil hat. And that's the Illuminati. The idea that there's this grand chamber of people, this small little group of people that control everything in this giant globe, this giant world that we live on, that make all the decisions. Do I think there's a group of uber rich people that try to shift things in the direction that they want? Yeah, I think that's probably accurate. But do I think there's a group of 12 ultra rich gazillionaires living in a luxury cave in Barbados and making all the decisions on who's going to be the president of this country, who's going to be the president of this country? This is going to be popular. This is going to be popular. The Bills are never going to win the Super Bowl. Do I think that's true? Absolutely, I do not. So, the Illuminati is interesting storytelling, but do I think it's a fact? No, I don't. And finally, we come to quite possibly the granddaddy of all conspiracy theories. And it goes right where it belongs in the tinfoil hat. And that is, do we live on a flat earth, surrounded by an ice wall, encased by the firmament? No, we do not. We live on a globe. We live on a big round ball that is encased by atmosphere and held together by gravity. It's as simple as that. There is absolute zero evidence that we live on a flat earth. As much as flat earthers want to tell us there is all this evidence, there is zero. And the only proof you need to know, I mean, you can go on a plane and look out the window and you will see that we do not live on a flat earth. When you see the horizon and you can't see, say you're in New York and you can't see Los Angeles, there you have it. That's because the curvature of the earth keeps you from seeing. But if we lived on a flat earth and you went up into a plane, you should be able, however minute, see Los Angeles from New York, 3,000 miles away. But you can't because we live on a globe. But if you need another experiment to do, then maybe, I don't know, just believe all the proven science that people have supported and put forward for the past, I don't know, 1,500 years or so. Yeah, I don't get flat earthers. But hey, maybe you think my list is faulty. So let me know in the comments which ones you agree with, which ones you disagree with, which ones you think are just a little bit off. And maybe we'll come back and do this again at a later date with all the different cryptid, because that one really needs to be broke down more from possible, I suppose. So, there you have it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to click like and subscribe, because it's after dark and nothing good ever happens until after dark.